Welcome back to BTL Productions, guys. Just give me one moment. I'm going live on Instagram as well as Twitter. Bear with me for a moment here. Video. Okay, copy stream key. Fine. Oh, okay. Apparently, I am live on Instagram as well. Welcome back, guys. So, I'm testing out my new camera setup here. I finally upgraded my new camera. Perfect. All right. So, as some of you may or may not know, outside of YouTube, I am also a professional photographer too. So, I got quite a bit of camera gear, as you might guess, and I've been wanting to upgrade the setup I have for YouTube, and up until this point, I've been using the webcam that comes on my iMac here, which wasn't doing too bad of a job. However, it could be better. So I started looking at some different external webcams I could get. And then I stumbled across an article that explained to me how to hook up my dSLR camera, which is the camera setup I use for my professional photography business, and use that as a webcam. So here we are. All I needed, in case you guys are curious, was this guy right there, the Camlink 4K. So basically, what this is you hook it into the USB port on the back of your computer and get a HDMI cable, which is a similar cable that you would normally use on your television to hook up to your satellite or cable or DVD player or whatever you might have. But it has to go from HDMI to mini HDMI, which is the one I use on my camera. So, anyhow, I will say it was actually, I was a little bit skeptical about how easy or difficult it might be to set up, but I would be happy to report that it actually was not difficult at all. So I got all set up, and I think actually the most difficult part of it all was actually was getting a proper spot for the camera and the lighting and moving my actual desk to fit the camera tripod in behind it. So anyhow, that's what I did with that. So yeah. Anyhow, I thought I'd jump on here quickly and just tell you guys about that. Let me know in the comments. Do you notice a difference in this video from some of my previous ones? I did upload one an hour or two ago that just about the new Mustang. and that was actually done with this new camera setup. But the one I did earlier today on the Malibu, that one was actually on my old webcam. So, anyhow, that is all for that. And anyhow, so what do we talk about? Anybody here? We can talk about some of the automotive news here. I've got some interesting videos in the vault here coming out very soon. Yeah, there's actually been a lot of interesting news going on. The administration in the U.S. is making things a little interesting. Now, aside from some of the other theatrics there, they actually, I think, are going to make the automotive sector a lot better. So I'm kind of now. I was watching after I filmed my Mustang Mach 4 video. I was looking at my YouTube feed, and TK's Garage was actually doing one on the same topic. And yeah, he was brought up an interesting point in his video about the Mach E, that really embarrassing Mustang SUV meet sports car, whatever the heck you want to call that thing. Anyhow, and one of the reason why they created that vehicle was for the CAFE credits, for the emissions credits. So they would build these, and because they're an electric vehicle, it wouldn't create any emissions. So that would give Ford a lot more leeway for producing their V8 Mustangs without having to face any stiff penalties from the U.S. government. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that thing once the emissions credits are no longer a thing. I haven't really dived that deeply into how the sales are on the Mach E. There's some electric car advocates out there. At least that's what a impression I'm getting from some of their um, videos and articles that they're publishing. That they're quite pro electric, and I don't know how reliable it is, but they're saying that they're selling amazingly. But as anybody who studies numbers, statistics, percentages, and all that sort of stuff, they know that that stuff can be manipulated really, really easily. So, anyhow, they're saying how fantastic the sales are of the Mach E. So, I just have to dig into that a little bit and see what they actually are. I don't know if it's a car that they would bother keeping around if it's not necessary for getting the emissions credits like it has been in the past. So I'll be curious to see what happens in that. I'm gonna be curious to see what's going to happen in the whole automotive sector in the next couple of years here. I think there's going to be a lot of changes and a lot more building what people want, what I've been saying for a long time. But they were kind of stuck with government regulations and that they could only go so far with that sort of stuff. And the lack of some of these ridiculous regulations that have been in place is why the Hemi will be back. My my opinion, anyhow. And GM, well, there's been a lot of chatter about the Camaro. Is it coming back? I can't see how they don't. Now, it's kind of interesting because it almost looks like Ford is going to do with the Mustang what I suggested GM should do with the Camaro and build it into kind of a more mainstream vehicle to sell to, average people or young people. And I did even mention, they could actually do something like that in a four door. Now we could go back to an earlier article or video that I did about Pontiac coming back. Now, is GM going to bring Pontiac back with even maybe a couple vehicles, and that will slide into the spot that got left by the Camaro and the Malibu? I don't know. That could be a possibility as well. I know there's a lot of people out there. Oh no, that Pontiac's not coming back. It's dead and buried, and it's not ever going to happen. So, you know what? Never say never. It could very well happen, and I think it is possible myself. I really, I don't, even I referenced with TK there. I know that he's at some kind of event, he spoke to some GM executives that did state that they are investigating the possibility of bringing the brand back. And he does have some very good sources, so I would trust that he knows what he's talking about. And I can see a lot of reasons, as I've outlined in some other videos, as to why they would bring it back. So, yeah, we'll see. If they don't, I think you're going to see the Camaro come back. I really do. Maybe they'll do something along the lines of the Mustang. Maybe they'll follow them. Yeah, sometimes GM can tend to be a little bit behind the ball there and kind of fall along, let someone else try something out first, and then come along and do it. So that does happen. So, I mean, yeah, maybe it will in this case as well. So we shall see with that. But like I said, either you're going to have one or two things. You're going to have the Camaro come back or the Pontiac brand come back. With the Pontiac brand, you're not going to have the Camaro. You're now going to have the Firebird. So we'll see with that. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, back to the topic of the young people. I think, depending on the price point that they bring this Mustang back at, they may be trying to lure in some younger people with it. I don't know. It's going to be hard to say. I think it might be a little bit high in price for them, but we'll see. Or are they going to really go all in with the Mustang brand and come out with some kind of a compact car, which the car companies in North America are kind of lacking? So pretty much it doesn't exist. So I don't know. We'll see. See what happens with that. So what else did I want? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about diversification with General Motors and how I've actually been pretty complimentary in General Motors as far as diversifying their lineup. And I think, I don't know, I think they're kind of losing that a bit myself. Why do I say that? Well, Blazer, that's a video I did recently. The Blazer EV is staying, but the gas powered one is going. And in today's political climate in North America, I think that is a really stupid move. Why you would do that, I don't know, because it makes absolutely zero sense. What makes even less sense is the fact that you're building it in Mexico and you're risking incurring huge tariffs there. I think that GM, all the car manufacturers in general, I think will iron out the tariff issue with time in Canada. But I'm not quite so certain about whether or not they're going to be able to do that in Mexico. I mean, tariffs typically are a tool to offset very low labor costs, like in Mexico and China and India, to encourage companies to build product here, which is what Trump is saying. He's encouraging people to buy, to build product in the U.S. But usually the purpose in that is, like I say, to, even the playing field with cheap labor. Canada isn't any cheaper labor than the U.S. The only thing we have in our favor is one, the Canadian dollar is fairly low right now, so that does make labor a little bit cheaper, but it's nowhere near what it will be in Mexico. 2, healthcare. Well, there is a public funded healthcare system in Canada, and that does save companies a lot of money with that. So that is something to consider, but that does not warrant a 25% tariff. And he's going to put up the price of a lot of products that way. So that's why it's going to come in and it's going to be there for a while. I fully believe that, but I also fully believe that it will be sorted out in time. We go back to the last time he was in office and he put all these tariffs on the steel. And yeah, it was kind of rough for a while, but it did iron itself out eventually. And this will too. Back to diversification. Well, diversification in General Motors, I think they're going in a little bit too heavily on the electric cars at the moment. I think they should be more focused on gas-powered cars and hybrid, not just strictly EV. I mean, you need a couple of those too for the people that want those, but you don't need a crazy amount of them. So, anyhow, I don't think anybody has anything to say, then leave it in the comments section here. But didn't plan to be on this live stream too long. I just kind of jumped on here for a bit just to see how this camera was working. I've used it in a couple of my videos, and you're going to see a few more of my videos coming up as well. It's going to be using this, and I'm going to say I'm quite happy with the setup actually so far. So it's been pretty good. So let's just see here. Yeah, okay. Over on Instagram here. Okay, says I was live here too. Okay, that's fine. I'm a little bit new to this multi-streaming on multiple platforms here. I think might get into some of the live streams a little bit more as time goes on here. And this summer, I've done a couple upgrades here so that I can actually live stream some events on location for you guys as well. So I look forward to doing that. And you guys liked some of my car show content that I did. So I'd be kind of curious to see how those do as well, because I actually have a camera and mic set up for that as well. And now that I've got the required hours and subscriber base here, I can actually live stream in horizontal video, like just like the normal video like you're seeing right now, and not the vertical kind of shorts, TikTok-y looking video either. So I will be able to do that as well. So that will be much better. I did a last, I was able to do the last car shows of the year in my area here. But at the time, I was only able to do like TikTok style vertical format video. So now that I got the other one, I can do the other. I can do it the other way, and I got the gimbal and the even a mic setup. I have to test out yet, but that one's supposed to be pretty good too. So anyhow, guys, I want to thank you. Anybody here that's watched the live stream, and yeah, I hope you all have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love